Hello everyone, welcome to Winged Paper Crafting. My name is Angel Fitch. If you're new around here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I'm so glad you've all decided to join me today. Today we're going to do our fourth set of alternatives for the April 2026 paper pumpkin kit called Lakeside Retreat. And here are the 9 cards that you could have made had you done this kit as it was intended. But as you know, we don't do as intended around here, so we're going to change things up a little bit. So as I'm getting out our first card, if I, could make a lot of noise, but on top of making a lot of noise, if I could ask you, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I would really appreciate it if you joined us, and we would love to have you around here, and hit that like button, and leave me a comment. And I would like to talk to you in the comments. So let's see, where are we at here? See if I can talk and do something at the same time. We're going to start with an easy one here. So I've got a white card base that is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I'm going to give this a nice burnish so it lays nice and flat. I've got a piece of basic white for the inside that's 4 by 5 1/4. I've got half of one of these card bases that I cut down to 4 by 5 1/4, and that's going to be our first layer here. And actually, so I don't get confused, we are going to rotate all of this because we're going to make a landscape card. So we've got our first layer there. Then we've got, this came in the kit like this, circle, and so did this. And so we're just going to put that in there, and then we're going to put that in the middle. So like I said, very easy. So let's get our first layer down. And you know what, before we get too far, let me open us up a new thing of glue, because that one is practically empty and I don't feel like fighting with it all day today. So let's just do ourselves a favor and open up a new one. Okay, here we go. Now we're in business. So we're going to take our half of a card base here, and we are going to line this up on our card. I'm just going to make sure I have it opening the right way. I do. So we're going to go like this and center that up. And that's the one good thing about the Tombow glue, is it does give you just a tad bit of time to wiggle around to get it where you want it. Okay, now let's get our circle with our little house on it onto our pecan pie circle here. So just kind of like that. And we're going to let that take hold before we try to move it around too much. Alright, so then this is going to go in the middle like this. And let's see, this is what we're going to stamp on. We do have this little sentiment piece that also came in the kit that we are going to do our stamping on. So I'm just going to put this down now, centered up. And let's make this so our house is level and not leaning. That wouldn't be good. Alright, now let's do our stamping. So we're going to stamp in some pecan pie on our tiny little sentiment strip here. We are going to use the stamp that came in the set that says, "You are a lifesaver." So let's get this inked up here. Okay, and we're just going to line this up on our mat so we can hopefully start with it straight. And let's see if I can get this down anywhere close to the center. Just going to give that just a second for the ink to transfer. And there we go. So we've got "You are a lifesaver." We're going to put that on our card. And on the inside, we're going to do another stamp that was in the kit. It says "Thanks." So let's ink this up. And we're just going to put this right down here at the top in the middle. like that. All right, put this ink away. I'm just going to do a quick survey, make sure I don't have it on my hands. All right, so let's get this piece put down on the inside. And that is the bad glue bottle we need to throw away. All right, let's see. So we're going to center this up right in here, just like that. Okay, and that's perfect. Back on the outside, I'm going to take this little sentiment piece here, and I want to pop it up on some mini dimensionals. It's not very wide, so need to use the little ones. And we'll get the backs off of these. And we will put this right down here in the lower right hand corner. So just like that. And actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a second little dimensional here. Because we have a couple of layers here, if I put that like that, it like sags on that end. So we just need to give it just a tad bit more support there so that it is flat and not leaning. So just put another dimensional under there, and that kind of makes that so it's a lot more even. So, okay. Now, we need some bling. I have got some of these tinsel gems that came in yellow, pink, blue, and green. And I'm going to we've got just a few of these little blue ones left here. And I think we'll just use some of these in order to try to use them up. Although, we have 4, and we're only going to use 3, which is going to leave one lonely one. So let's see, let's put our other one, where can we put this one? Maybe right here. Oops, it's upside down. Well, now it's been every place except where I want it. Let's scoot that over just a little. There we go, just like that. All right, so there's our first card. Pretty easy, very cute. Okay, so our second card, also going to be easy. That's one of the nice things about these paper pumpkin kits are they're pretty easy to do. Even if you do them on your own, you can still come up with pretty easy cards. So we're going to start with card base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Give this a good burnish. A piece for the inside that's 4 by 5 1/4. We have this piece here. This was part of the envelope that I cut down. It is 2 by 5.5, and this is going to be our layer here on the very left-hand side of our card. And then this was a piece that came in the card like this. This was it, and it was 2.5 by 5.5, and that's going to be our piece for the right-hand side of our card. So let's put these 2 pieces down, and then we will do some stamping. So I'm just going to line this up with the very left edge and make sure that it's, even with the top and the bottom edge. And then we're going to get our wood grain piece down here as well, and it is going to overlap our envelope just the tiniest of bits, but that's okay. It just makes it look a little more finished. And let's get this straightened up there. There we go. All right, so there's that. Now, this little wood grain piece came in the kit. It was just this little tiny, looks like a fence post, so that's what we're going to use it as. And we're going to put that down here. And this came in the kit as well, and this is supposed to be a sign post like that. And then we have a piece of white right that goes here that we're going to stamp on. So that's going to complete our sign. So let's do our stamping, and let's see, for the outside, on our little white piece that goes inside there, we are going to do Happy Father's Day that came in the kit. And we are going to stamp in Misty Moonlight. So we will ink up our Happy Father's Day stamp. And we'll line this up here, so hopefully we end up with it straight. Let me see if I can get this centered without getting my head in the way, because it's really hard to do that when you can't get over top of it. Let's see how we did. Perfect. Okay, so there's that piece. For the inside, we're going to do another little sentiment that was in the kit. It says, "You are an inspiration." So we're going to ink this up and line this up again. And we'll get this down right here at the top. Let me move the ink out of the way. So like this. There we go. All right, we're going to put our ink away. Just going to do a nice scan there. It looks like I'm still clean. We might actually get through the whole video without me having an ink disaster. All right. I know I shouldn't talk too soon, right? So let's get our inside piece in here. So centered up best we can. It looks pretty good. Back on the outside now. We're going to put our fence post down next. So I'm just going to do it all flat. You could pop this up if you wanted to, but we're just going to do it flat. We're just going to put it right here, about a ½ inch from the left-hand side, give or take. Doesn't have to be exact. It just would be nice if it were straight. That's more important, that it's straight, because we don't want a leaning fence post, do we? There we go. All right, so there's that. Now, let's put our little Happy Father's Day onto our blue signpost here. So this just goes right there in the middle. All right, that looks good. Now we're going to take this piece and we're going to just kind of attach it right here to the post. So it looks like it's just hanging off that post there. And then there was this little piece here that came in the kit that's a little fish. And we're going to put our little fish right here at the top of our signpost. So this would be a good card for fathers that like to fish or go fishing. So we're going to put that right there. All right. What else do we have? We've got our inside in, right? All right, so we're just left with some bling. And I've got, what have I got? These little gems that came in the kit. These look like a tinsel foil gem here, but we're going to use it. And we are going to just use 3 of these. Let's see, we can get these down. There's one. And we'll put a second one over here. And one more. Let's see, up here. And there is a very cute, very quick Father's Day card. All right, so here are our cards, 2 that we did today. Don't forget to hit that like and the subscribe and leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to ring that notification bell so that you get notified every time I upload a video. And I will be back soon with something. We'll find out what that is later. Have a crafty day. Bye.